Imagine flying to another country, not speaking the language, working full-time in construction, and getting one last shot to save your UFC career. Lose and it's over. Win and maybe, just maybe, they keep you around. That was Merab Dvalishvili in 2019. Today he's the bantamweight champion of the world, but the path to the belt, it's one of the wildest underdog stories in UFC history. Merab Dvalishvili is known for two things: his non-stop cardio and that huge, vivid smile that we all love. He doesn't fight like a man afraid to lose. He instead fights like someone who already knows what rock bottom looks like and isn't going back whatsoever. While most fighters get nervous before stepping into the octagon, Merab feels at peace. He once said, "I love fighting. That's where I feel most relaxed, like I'm at home watching a beautiful view." But let's take it back, because Merab was born in Georgia. Not the state, but the country. A place known for wrestling, warriors, and tough men, which is exactly why Merab says fighting is in his DNA. And it showed very early on, because he racked up 9 straight wins in Georgia before taking a risk that would change his life forever. Because he moved to the United States in 2012 to chase his lifelong dream of becoming a UFC champion. There was just one problem. He didn't speak a lick of English. He didn't know anyone, and he couldn't even find an MMA gym to train at. So he got a full-time job working construction to support himself while he chases his UFC dream. But at one point early on in his journey, Merab seriously considered quitting. He said, "I thought maybe I'll just live a normal life, work construction, come home, watch TV, hit the club on weekends, and maybe meet someone and raise a family." But that life didn't satisfy him. He tried it and it just felt empty. He said, "I realized I didn't care if I lost fights. I just loved this and I wanted to give it everything I had." So he went back to the grind, training during the day, working construction at night, losing money, doubting himself, but pushing through. And here's where it gets crazy, because Merab actually had taken a break from fighting. He was almost 2 years out of competition, but when he came back, he didn't just return. He took over. After his hiatus, Merab went on a 6-fight win streak and landed a fight with undefeated prospect Rufian Stotts. In that fight, he landed a spinning backfist KO in the first round. That was it. That was the moment he says changed everything, because Dana White was in the crowd and signed him right after that. Merab said he was so tired of working construction and he knew he had to fight hard. He was so focused, and that win changed his life forever. But even then, the UFC wasn't sold, because in 2019, Merab was 1 win and 2 losses in the promotion with 1 fight on his contract. He lost his first 2 fights in the promotion and his dreams were quickly fading away. And he was still working full-time construction because there was no guarantees in his life at the time. So for the final fight in his contract, the UFC did him a favor and offered him Brad Katona, who at the time was an undefeated Ultimate Fighter winner who also had just come off submitting Bryce Mitchell. Merab of course accepted the fight, but there was one thing he asked of the UFC, is if he could fight in New York, in front of his people, because he knew that even if he wins, the UFC might not even re-sign him. The UFC's response? Fuck that. If you want the fight, take it. If not, get out. So he did what any normal UFC fighter would do. He flew straight from his construction job to Canada, cut weight, and beat the undefeated Brad Katona. Just like that, Merab saved his UFC career. And that was just the beginning of the run, because what came next, that's the part nobody saw coming. Because since that win, Merab has gone on an absolute tear. He's beaten a murderer's row of UFC fighters. I'm talking UFC featherweight legend José Aldo, former UFC bantamweight champion Petr, former UFC 2-time division champion Henry Cejudo, and also Olympic gold medalist and former bantamweight champion Sean O'Malley. His pressure, his pace, his wrestling, it's non-stop. And he largely credits that due to his experience working construction. And in September last year, Merab finally got what he worked so hard for. He beat Sugar Sean O'Malley and became the UFC bantamweight champion of the world. Then in January, he defended the belt against Umar Nurmagomedov, Khabib's cousin, and beat him by unanimous decision while being a sizable underdog going into that fight. Today, Merab Dvalishvili is 34 years young, is at the top of his game, and wants to fight 4 times this year. He's gone from a guy the UFC didn't even want to one of the greatest bantamweight champions of all time. And he even just recently surpassed John Jones on the pound-for-pound list, so shout out to Merab. He's also the man everyone in the bantamweight division wants a shot at, with Corey Sandhagen being at the top of that list. Merab's story is proof that pressure makes diamonds, because from a construction worker just trying to survive, he became a champion the UFC could not ignore. If you want to see more UFC stories like this, hit that subscribe button because I'm dropping new videos every week.